Hey there, BookTube. Everyone who reads It Must Converse is the channel. Thanks for coming back by. It's that time of year again. The Midyear Book Freakout tag is awesome, right? It's just a great tag. Always. I saw another Bibliophile Reads, Greg over there, do it earlier today. I was watching Thornfield Books do it right before I'm filming this, so I'm going to use her video for the prompts. They're the same on everybody, so if you're a content creator, please just do it. It's a good way to, each year kind of assess, because we always kind of do that as a matter of course in the new year, right? So on to the books. Love this stuff. Number one is the best book you've read so far this year. The best book I've read so far this year is tough because I've read some really good stuff, but I went with Beloved by Toni Morrison. This book is awesome. So amazingly effective. You will, you're just going to be on that. It's a tension. There's high tension. You're on the edge of your seat. You're wondering what's going on. It is a ghost story. It is scary. It is dark, and it is weird. But the thing about it is it's written on the highest level. There's wonderful stream of consciousness writing, literary techniques in here that just satisfy the reader to the utmost. So the best book that I've read this year so far is probably Beloved by Toni Morrison. Number two, best sequel you've read so far. So I'm not a big series reader, but I am reading a series right now. And this is The Book of the New Sun by Gene Wolfe. And I finished Claude the Conciliator, which is the second volume in Book of the New Sun. There's a sequel, I'm counting it, and this is a really cool story. It's really weird, very fast paced, almost a breakneck pace. And I think that if it sat for too long in one of this place, in some place, the reader might start asking too many questions to make it satisfying, because there is a lot of mystery here. But with how this series is hailed, I can't wait to see where he takes it and how he wraps it up in the last two volumes, because people love it. And I mean, I feel like I'm gonna like sci-fi fantasy, really epic on the level of something like Star Wars or something. It's great. So prompt number three is new release you haven't read yet but want to. So I don't follow new releases too much, and I'm definitely not gonna shout out some something on your shelf at Barnes and Noble, unless it's a backlog book, something that's been published. So something that I am looking forward to reading is the collected stories of Breece DJ Pancake. What a name, right? Breece DJ Pancake was born in West Virginia in 1952. He attended Marshall University, taught English at Virginia military schools, and then entered the creative writing program at the University of Virginia in Charlottesville, where he died in 1979. During his lifetime, his short fiction was published primarily in The Atlantic. So I've heard amazing things about his stories, and I can't wait to get to it, for sure. And the next prompt, most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I actually do have some books that I know about that are going to be released the second half of the year, because I have a self-published copy in one, a Bended Circuity by Rob. I don't know his name like that, but he just signs it RSS. A Bended Circuity, and this is actually a kind of Southern Gothic. I haven't read it yet. I want to read it. Very anticipating it for the end of the year. I'm going to read this in the second part. That's for sure. This is published by himself, but it will be published later on in the year by Coronasamas.press. I'll put them in the description box. So there are screams in the night. Interlopers are afoot and have taken hold. Wildfires are burning the countryside, and the gentry are running for cover. Fortunes are at stake, and the South will not sleep. This is a kind of maximalist, historical Southern novel. So like Southern maximalism. Sprinkled with poems, songs, wordplay, long-running riddles, liberal use of literary devices and tropes, stream of consciousness, and dense prose, A Bended Circuity promises to be innovative, highly unique, funny, controversial, and entertaining to read. So, I'm down for something super modern, right? And that's what this is. And also another short story collection that is by Nick Voro, Conversational Therapy. This is going to come out later in the year from Press too. Can't wait to read it. Nick is a great guy. I'm friends with him. We've talked a bunch, but this book gets a lot of praise from those who have read it, and so I can't wait to it. Number 5, my biggest disappointment. My most recent biggest disappointment is The Tenant by Roland Topor. There were, it's one of those things where you might say, well, I'm glad I read it in case there's like some trivia or some kind of thing, because it was part of a French avant-garde movement in the time of Topor's life, this kind of stuff. Maybe there's some value to having read it, but it's not in the storyline, that's for sure. It's okay. It was a disappointment to me. And then I read the last Saramago that I've read, and I don't know if I'm going to even pick up any more Saramago after this. I might read Death with Interruptions because people say that they like that one. So I might give them another shot on something that is universally praised like that. But I've read a lot of Saramago and I don't like it. I don't like most of it. The Stone Raft was just a huge letdown for me. As far as magical realism and this kind of, story where really it's wide open. There's a premise where, Portugal kind of breaks off from Spain, I believe, and the landmass just starts drifting out into the Atlantic. And it's dealt very plainly, scientifically, like it is actually happening. But then from the outside, it is happening. And then these 4 very kind of magically endowed individuals meet up. They all have their own little ticks, and they are going to try to figure out why this has happened and whatever. And there's not any resolution. It's just this kind of big freewheeling thing, and with not enough ideas to not enough, enough great ideas to make it satisfying for me. I was really disappointed. Sorry to say. Number 6, your biggest surprise. My biggest surprise, I'm going to throw back on Toni Morrison there, because I read Sula as well in the beginning of this year, and Toni Morrison is an amazing author. And I'm not surprised that she's a great author, because, of course, she's a Nobel Prize winner. So she's an amazing author, but I'm surprised how much I love her and that I haven't read her before in my life. With her, hearing the name and and just knowing that is great. And so it's there's great, wonderful authors that you don't know yet. Always, it's so great to find those new ones. So that's my favorite. That's my biggest surprise kind of thing. I skipped favorite new author because when it comes down to it, I think I meant for Toni Morrison to be favorite new author, but maybe biggest surprise I didn't even have one for, and was just kind of stuck on that. That's how it goes. And newest fictional crush, I don't really get crushes. The next prompt is that, newest fictional crush, number 8. And I don't really get crushes, so this part of the prompts I was just like, but my all-time go-to fictional crush, literarily speaking, is Flannery O'Connor. And I picked up this copy of A Good Man Is Hard to Find. I've never had a copy of A Good Man Is Hard to Find, the collected short stories in this binding. I've always had full short story collections from Flannery O'Connor and read them in a collection like that. So it was cool. When I saw it at a thrift store, I just bought it. It has maybe been read once, or maybe just certain selections read out of it. But I love Flannery O'Connor and always will. Number 10, a book that made me cry. So a book that made me cry, and I'm not ashamed to admit it, this year is Light in August by William Faulkner. This book is dark, Joe Christmas is one of the hardest characters to live with and to experience their life in all of literature, to me. And I'm sure it has a lot of my own Southern boy in Georgia upbringing, as also with my feelings towards Toni Morrison as well. Everything is really, really personal like that. But Joe Christmas shows this kind of character that is hopeless. And he doesn't know why. He has no means to understand his situation or to make himself better. He can't even understand the world because the world is indifferent towards him. Completely all around. There's not real, genuine love or authentic care given to him and shown to him at any point ever in his life by no one. It's a really tough character. Number 11, a book that made me happy. So I grabbed volume 1 of a publication that was put out. This is the Holon Project, a collection of authors off of Instagram and other writing communities that has been collected and published by a member of the community. It's done very, very well. The cover is a collaboration with an artist. And to read these short stories and poems from members of the community, and it's done so well, it makes me happy. It makes me happy. And I'll link them down in the description box too, because a wonderful thing to support. Number 12, the most beautiful book you've bought or received so far this year. I have to go. Are you ready, guys? I have to go with the Book of Fantasy, edited by Borges, Ocampo, and Casares. This book is epic by those who know, and look at the condition this book came in. I mean, it is pristine. It's been in this Mylar since day one. It's amazing. So we have a blurb by Carlos Fuentes. He'll show up a little bit later in this tag. And then just an amazing selection by the three editors. J.G. Ballard, Akutagawa, Borges himself submits a couple of stories. Lewis Carroll, G.K. Chesterton, Cortázar, Lord Dunsany, Hawthorne. James Joyce has a couple. Arthur Machen and Guy de Maupassant. Tolstoy has one in here. Evelyn Waugh. It just never stops. Edgar Allan Poe. And some of the best, it's just William Butler Yeats. You cannot go wrong. So I can't wait to dig into this, and it came so beautifully. I'm floored, completely floored. All right, and number 13. This is the end. Final prompt. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? So I'm gonna read these. These are kind of up next, and sooner rather than later. But to go off the Borges, I'm continuing with reading Borges through all his fiction. I'm reading through the collected fictions, but the next on my list is the Book of Sand, this collection right here. This is a first edition that has the translation done by Norman Thomas Di Giovanni. So I love having this. This is one of my prized possessions in my collection, but I will be reading it from the Penguin Classics Deluxe Edition. And then I will be, here's the Carlos Fuentes, I am reading Terra Nostra with a wonderful group of booktubers and Instagram readers, Bookstagram readers. Seth at Waste Mailing List and Sean over at Seeking Stories have put together a read of Terra Nostra, and I'm in for it. I haven't had a book this big this year. So we're going to end this year, or we're going to keep it going strong through the middle of the year. I hope this was sufficiently freaking out for you book nerds out there, my people. Love you guys. Catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.